All all right, good evening, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So glad to have you with us tonight. I'm Rebecca Barancic, giving our rabbi a night off, a night of rest, a night of Shabbat, and so happy to be here with Jonah Diner, our bar mitzvah, and of course the Jammin' Jews. So take it away.
Yay. All right, good. How good it is for us all to be here together. Hine Matov. 2, 3, 4. And there's a clap that goes, Hine Matov, clap, clap. Let's try that again, here we go. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Akim, Gam Yahad. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Akim, Gam Yahad. Now repeat after me. How good it is, good, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Let's do it again. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Back to the top. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Akim, Gam Yahad. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Akim, Gam Yahad. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Akim, Gam Yahad. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Akim, Gam Yahad. Shevet Akim, Gam Yahad.
Good evening and Shabbat Shalom once again. I want to welcome the Diner family and friends. So good to be here with all of you this evening, as well as our regulars and everyone who's joining us online. So we've got a good crowd, I'm thinking. I wanted to start off, speaking of online, with a meditation that I saw online this week that made me think of Shabbat and made me think of the importance of Shabbat. So please listen as I read this meditation called Sacred Exhaustion by Jeff Foster. Your tiredness has a dignity to it. Do not rush to pathologize it or push it away, for it may contain great intelligence, even medicine. You've been on a long journey from the start. Bow before your tiredness now. Do not fight it any longer. There's no shame in admitting that you cannot go on. Even the courageous need rest. For a great journey lies ahead, and you'll need all of your resources. Come, sit by the fire of presence. Let the body unwind, drop into the silence here. Forget about tomorrow, let go of the journey to come, and sink into this evening's warmth. Every great adventure is fueled by rest at its heart. Your tiredness is noble and contains healing power, if only you would listen. Something to think about as we all, I hope, rest on this Shabbat. And now I'd like to invite Jonah and his dad, Eric, and his grandma, Susan, up to the bima to light the blessing, light the candles, and recite the Kiddush for us. With help by the Jammin' Jews, don't worry.
We'll help you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam marei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratavanu v'shabbat kadsho v'ahavahu v'ratzon hinilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah lamikra'ei kodesh zeher letziat mitzrayim kivanu b'avata ratanu kidashta nikmomi v'shabbat hashaka ve'ahavatu v'ratzon kinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
We now turn to page 20 for Lecha Dodi. We will sing verses 1, 2, and 9, and as is our custom, we will all rise at verse 9 and face the door as if to welcome the Sabbath bride into our midst. If you're not comfortable rising, please stay comfortable in your seat. After that, we'll keep on standing, but we'll remind you of that. So page 20, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. La 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela.
page 26. Da v'yishtabach shemei rabba be'alma divrach yirute ve'amlich malhute b'chayechon uvyomechon uchayedechol be'Yisrael ba'gala
Bagala ubisman kariv. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabara, Le'olam Le'omaya,
Yit bara v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit alal shemei dekudasha brichu le'ela min kol bachat
Shihirata,
tushbechata v'nehemata
Dahamir Rabbiahoma.
v'yimeru
Amen.
Standing as we sing the Baruch Hu on page 28.
1, 2, 3. La da 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 da, 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 la da 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 da. Baruch et Adonai, Halevorach. Baruch Adonai, Halevorach, le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. La-da-da-da-da, 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 la-da-da-da-da,
Let's turn the page to page 30 and read the translation of the Ma'ariv Aravim together. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness away from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzavaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Am Hata, Torah u'mizvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu
Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malkuto Le'olam Ba'ed.
You may be seated. We turn the page to 36 for the V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבחך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשבך ובקומך, וקשרתם ללוט ידיך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם בכל מצוותיי, והם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Let's read together on the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you,
Page 42.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomrei, nu lechayim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomrei, nu lechayim.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ushmor Seitenu L'chayim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim.
Hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim.
We turn to page 45 for Eternity Utters a Day, and that will bring us right into the tefillah on the next page.
Lie, die, die, lie, die, die, lie, die, 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 lie, die, die, lie, die, 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 lie, die, die, lie, die, die, lie, die, 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 lie, die, die, lie, die, die, die. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of a night, and eternity utters a day. And eternity utters a day. Please rise. Adonai Svatai Svatai Tivtai Ufi Yagitahi Lataka. Adonai Svatai Svatai Tivtai Ufi Yagitahi Lataka. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'Koneh HaKol V'Zocher Hasei Avot V'Ma'od Maybe geula libnei v'neihem leman shemo be'ahava melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen Baruch atah Adonai magen Avraham ve'etzrat Sarah Atah gibor le'olam Adonai mikayei kol atah rav lehushiha mashiv haruach u'morid hagah Hashem Mekalhel hayim behesed, Mekayeh hakol berakamim rabim, so homek noflim mirofeh holim, umatir asurim, umekayeh emunato, lishenei afar, mikamocha ba'o givurot, umidom elah, Melech me'mit u'makayeh u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mekayeh ha'kol atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh kadoshim b'kol yom l'chahalu ha'selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el ha'kadosh.
You may be seated. I forgot to warn Jonah how fast you do the tefillah,
Oh, do I?
but
Anyone
he-
who was at Camp Coleman with me does it like that.
but he kept
Right?
up. I'm sure if you could hear him over the microphone, Jonah, that was awesome. But don't worry, they'll go slower tomorrow.
I won't be here. Here we can start.
Let's turn to page 55 and read together at the top of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
It's the middle of page 57. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence.
Oh, I gotta find it. Sorry. Keep going. Okay, here it is. Baruch atah Adonai shechotecha v'chavayan nahavot.
Our prayer for peace is on page 60. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tziim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tziim le'olam. Ki atah hu melech
Misha Berach prayer, our prayer for healing of mind, of body, and soul. And we remember that we too can be like God and reach out to people who are in need of healing. We can reach out to their caregivers. We can visit, we can bring food, we can call, let them know we're thinking of them. These are the members of our temple family whom we're thinking of this evening for a Misha Berach prayer: Pat Bonilla, Janet Gordon, Eric Rasko, Gail Rubinsky, Marty Siegel, Julie Weaver. And keep these relatives and friends in your thoughts as well: Madeline Arabia, Mia Bernstein, Patty Bregman, Robert Friedman, Jordana Fuller, Stephen Goldstein, Jeff Gould, Jordan Howell, Stephen Kerr, Jeffrey Kravitz, David Kroll, Mark Lehman, Morris Maruskin, Marcia Mishowitz, Anna Power, Betty Schroeder, Lori Sarah, Liviana Sulzer, Lita Tate, Rabbi Jay Weinstein, Eugenia Wands, and Nancy Scher Weiss. If there are others you're thinking about, especially this evening, and you'd like to say their name aloud, I invite you to do so at this time.
Aaron.
And Seth Axelrod. Let's turn to page 253 for our Misha Berach prayer. Moments for silent prayer, for the Tfilat Halev, the prayer within your heart. And when we come back, we'll be on page 62 with Osei Shalom.
Osei Shalom, Bihim Roma, Huya Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu.
This is my sermon. Last Shabbat, though I had labored mightily to write a sermon, somehow I lost it on my way to synagogue. Luckily, at the very last minute, Scott emailed it to me on my phone, and as Shakespeare said, all's well that ends well. Or was it? For sure, the 10 frantic minutes of searching, running to my car, calling Scott, it all threw me off my game a bit. But beyond that, I headed down that all too familiar road of beating myself up. Why are you so flaky? Why didn't you pay more attention? And how about that time you forgot to bring your Haftarah script to Rosh Hashanah services? It happened. And on. But then I remembered the words of wisdom that Rabbi Mangold shared with us on Yom Kippur. She talked about a similar situation in which she forgot to check the copy machine for the last page of her friend's cantorial program that she, Rabbi, was narrating. In that telling, she reminded us that humans are, by our very nature, imperfect, and that it is that imperfection that bonds us together. Rabbi Mangold advised us against the self-flagellation to which I am prone, saying, and I quote, "It may distract us from enjoying the blessings in our lives. It hinders us from taking pride in our accomplishments because we're too busy beating ourselves up." Indeed, after reminding myself of that, I was then able to focus on the blessings of Shabbat, the beautiful music by Joyce, the poise of the bat mitzvah student who shared the bima with us, and my own privilege of leading services. I reflected on this as I thought about this week's Torah portion, Lech Lecha, rediscovering my disappointment with our matriarch, Sarah. In this portion, when they're traveling to Egypt, Sarah first allows her husband Abraham to lie and say that she is his sister. Abraham is afraid that the Pharaoh will kill him so he can take the beautiful Sarah as his concubine. So Pharaoh doesn't kill Abraham, but he does put Sarah inside of his harem. She might be forced to sleep with him. Why doesn't Sarah protest? Later, when Abraham and Sarah are back together again, Sarah is unable to conceive, so she gives her slave, Hagar, to Abraham so he can have a baby with her. When Hagar gets pregnant, Sarah then gets mad at her, forcing Hagar to run away. Hagar comes back, but after her son is born, Sarah kicks both mom and baby out of the house. Where is female solidarity? What happened to sisters helping sisters? All of these actions are so hard for a modern woman or man to understand. But then I wonder, what was it like to be Sarah? When Abraham tells Sarah to pretend she is his sister, what choice did she have? We all know that women had no power back in those days. Their legal, financial, and physical security was completely dependent on men. How must Sarah have felt then when she couldn't defend herself, neither to her husband nor to Pharaoh? Like many women on the wrong end of a power relationship, she probably blamed herself. Then, when she was unable to conceive, the one recognized contribution of women back then, how did that make her feel? I'd have to suppose even worse. Is it any wonder then that she turned her self-hatred outward and directed it toward Hagar, who got pregnant quite easily? While my armchair analysis might explain Sarah's behavior, I'm not suggesting that it exonerates her. But it reinforces why beating ourselves up cannot lead to anything good. Some trace the original divide between Jews and Muslims to this split between Sarah and Hagar and their children Isaac and Ishmael. It's not until we get to Parshat Kedoshim in Leviticus that we read, "Love your neighbor as yourself." You might think this means you should treat your neighbor well. True enough, but it also means that you cannot love your neighbor until you love yourself. We sometimes read this in a meditation in the Shabbat morning service. It's on page 113, but you don't have to look. We read, "Love your neighbor as yourself," you said, "and light blinded we saw that inner and outer worlds are one." This gets to the heart of the matter. When we love what is inside of ourselves, we can also love what is outside of ourselves. Still, easier said than done. Rabbi Mangold suggested we try to transform our feelings of imperfection into acts of loving kindness. I think in this year of 5782, I am reinterpreting acts of loving kindness as acts of empathy. When I see people acting disrespectfully, rudely, uncivilly, I try to put myself in their shoes and figure out, what is it that's really bothering them? What is it that's making them feel insecure or imperfect? I may not be able to fix it, but if I can come from a place of understanding, I might be able to at least control my reaction to them. Our rabbis of the Talmudic era tried to reconcile the different offended parties in this week's Torah portion with their own endings. This includes Abraham marrying Hagar after Sarah's death, Isaac facilitating the reunion of Abraham with Hagar, and Abraham visiting Ishmael in his new homeland. There's no attempt to have Sarah resolve her battle with Hagar. Contemporary rabbis create their own midrashic explanations to address this oversight. Jewish renewal rabbi Lynn Gottlieb shows Sarah understanding herself in a poem addressed to Hagar titled Achti, Hebrew or Arabic for my sister. "I am pained I did not call you by the name your mother gave you. I cast you aside, cursed you with my barrenness and rage, called you stranger, Hagar, the stranger, as if it were a sin to be from another place." Rabbi Gottlieb's poem ends with Sarah recognizing that she and Hagar have both experienced common suffering from the men around them. And she says, "Forgive me, Achti, for the sin of neglect, for the sin of abuse, for the sin of arrogance. Forgive me, Achti, for the sin of not knowing your name." To quote Rabbi Mangold once more, We are all imperfect and we are all holy. We can all celebrate our imperfections and find the holiness within ourselves and within our neighbors. That brings us one step closer to peace and one step closer to God. Oh, and by the way, I still haven't found my copy of last week's sermon. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Let's all rise as we continue with our service, page 282, and we open the ark for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shavei ladon hakol atet gulal yotzer brishit shelo asanu k'yei harason v'lo hasamanu k'mishpachot adama shelo sam kaleinu kahem gohar aleinu kechol hamonam va'anaknu korim umishakavim umodim lifnei melech Malhei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu yigah Adonai echad Ushemo echad.
We now turn to the mitzvah of memory as we think of those who died in recent days or in this season in years past. In a moment, we'll be turning to page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish. I'm going to read aloud for you the names of those members whom we're thinking of this Shabbat, and then ask if you have others you'd like to say out loud, and please feel free to rise at your seat when you hear your loved one's name. We're marking the recent death of Donna Berman, wife of Robert Berman. And on this Shabbat, we commemorate these yahrzeits: Frederick Auld, Paul Backer, Martin Bader, Dorothy Bertati, Albert Boonen, Shepard Hugh Cutler, Mark Danziger, William Fleece, Martin Friedrich, Sol Geller, Henry Gerard, Max Glass, Muriel Gauss, Florence Graham, Leonore Harris, Carol Heller, Jack Jenkins, Ruth Kronstadt, Betty Leibowitz, Shirley Lerner, Sidney Mitchell, Samuel Rickman, Ruth Rifkin, Erwin Stanton Salzer, Irving Serrata, Charlotte Singer, Meyer Suskin, Beatrice Truck, Robert Ward, Irene Weil, Abraham Wolotsky, and Iselin Zeimer. If there are others you're thinking of on this Shabbat and you'd like to say their name, I invite you to rise at your seat and do so right now. Let's all rise as one community as we say the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 264. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mavarach Leolam Ulalmei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Dikudsha Barich Hu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mramam, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. Except for Mike Shapiro, who is going to bring announcements on behalf of the board.
Shabbat Shalom. It's nice seeing new faces as well as familiar faces. No, we're not. No, we're just getting familiar. All right, so that's a good thing. Barbara, I want you to know that I really enjoyed your Evelyn Woods tefillah. And would have appreciated it more had the Rays been playing tonight and not the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And we probably should have added Rays fans to the Misha Berach list. We didn't. Thank you to Rebecca. We are so lucky to have you. Thank you to the JJs for being here tonight. And the third J, thank you to Jonah for leading us in service tonight as well. And please join us tomorrow morning when Jonah is called to the Torah to become a bar mitzvah. And congratulations to the whole Diner family. It's a nice weekend. It's nice to see everybody here. This coming Monday, October 18, don't forget to sign up for the adult education program, Expanding Horizons. We will meet in the Sembler Family Library from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock. And since space is limited, registration is required on our website. Audrey Greenberg will kick us off with a discussion about mistakes we wish we had not made. And Dr. Helen Levine, former lobbyist for USF, the city of St. Petersburg and Hillsborough County, will be our guest speaker on lobbying for good. Check out our events page for more details, and please don't forget to register at the website. And then 2 weeks from tonight, on Friday, October 29, join us right here for our Veterans and First Responders Shabbat. On that night, we will honor military veterans, police, firefighters, and frontline medical workers in our Temple Beth-El community during this special Shabbat service. Also, once again, be sure to register on the webpage. And again, if you'd like, please come back tomorrow morning and join us when Jonah is called to the Torah. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Mike. I'll add my thanks to the Jammin' Jews and Barbara for great music tonight. And Jonah, I've only met you a week ago, really, but I feel like we've known each other forever. Congratulations, you're doing an awesome job already. It's going to be great tomorrow, too. Let's all rise as we conclude with Oseh Shalom.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom.
Roma.
Roma.
Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom.
Roma.
Roma.
Yaseh Shalom.
Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kol
Israel.
Yisrael.
Ve'al kol
Ve'al kol
Tevel.
Yoshvei Tevel.
Ve'yimeru.
V'imru amen.
Yihiyu l'iratzon. Imrei pi. Yahon libi.
Lefanecha.
Adonai tu.
Adonai so.
Adonai tu.
Adonai so.
Adonai tu.
Go Ali.
Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom.
Roma.
Roma.
Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom.
Roma.
Roma.
Yaseh Shalom.
Shalom Aleinu.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.